With two selections in the first 29 picks of the 2026 NFL Draft, the Kansas City Chiefs find themselves in one of the most advantageous and intriguing positions of the entire offseason, holding the type of draft capital that could dramatically reshape their roster as they attempt to return to the Super Bowl with a fully healthy Patrick Mahomes leading the offense. For a franchise that has grown accustomed to selecting near the bottom of the first round due to sustained playoff success, the sudden opportunity to pick early, and to do so twice, introduces a new level of flexibility, urgency, and strategic importance. The Chiefs now have the rare ability to address immediate weaknesses while also investing in the future, all within the same draft, and that combination could prove crucial in maintaining their status as contenders in an increasingly competitive AFC landscape. The importance of this moment cannot be overstated. Kansas City enters the draft with multiple areas of concern across the roster, and the front office must carefully evaluate which needs demand immediate attention. On offense, the team could benefit from improvements at running back, where adding explosiveness and consistency could help balance the attack. The wide receiver group, while talented, could use additional speed and separation ability to stretch defenses vertically. The offensive line remains another focal point, particularly as protecting Mahomes continues to be the franchise's top priority. Meanwhile, the tight end position, long anchored by Travis Kelce, presents a looming long-term question as the future Hall of Famer continues deeper into his career. On the defensive side of the ball, Kansas City could strengthen its cornerback group, add pass rushing depth, and reinforce the trenches to improve overall physicality. Each of these needs presents a legitimate case, making the Chiefs' draft strategy one of the most fascinating to analyze. General Manager Brett Veach and his staff now face the delicate task of balancing immediate impact with long-term planning. The Chiefs are not in a full rebuild, but they are also not in a position to ignore roster holes. Instead, they must find players who can contribute quickly while also developing into foundational pieces. This dual objective is what makes their two early picks so valuable. With the number 9 selection, they could target a premier prospect capable of making an instant difference, while the number 29 pick provides an opportunity to address another need or take a calculated gamble on a high-upside talent. The ability to mix and match strategies gives Kansas City flexibility, but it also increases the pressure to get both selections right. During an appearance on his namesake podcast, ESPN senior NFL insider Adam Schefter introduced an intriguing possibility that adds another layer to the Chiefs' decision-making process. Schefter suggested that Kansas City could consider selecting Oregon tight end Kenyon Sadiq as the long-term successor to Travis Kelce. At first glance, this idea might seem surprising, given that tight end is not the most urgent need on the roster. However, Schefter's perspective reflects a forward-thinking approach, one that prioritizes continuity and sustained defensive production. The Chiefs have built much of their offensive identity around tight end play, and finding a player who can eventually step into Kelce's role is a critical long-term objective. Schefter raised the question directly, wondering whether the Chiefs could use one of their early picks to secure Sadiq, highlighting his speed and playmaking ability. Kansas City has historically utilized tight ends in creative ways, often deploying multiple tight end sets to create mismatches against linebackers and safeties. Sadiq's athletic profile makes him particularly intriguing in that context. His ability to stretch the field vertically, line up in different positions, and create yards after the catch could add another dimension to the offense. Pairing him with Mahomes, who excels at extending plays and finding open targets, could produce explosive results. Interestingly, Schefter admitted that this scenario has not been widely discussed among insiders, making it more of a personal projection based on fit and philosophy. Nevertheless, his reasoning resonates when considering Kansas City's long-term outlook. Travis Kelce remains productive and is expected to return for the 2026 season, but the Chiefs must eventually plan for the transition. Drafting Sadiq now would allow him to learn behind one of the greatest tight ends in NFL history, absorbing nuances of the position while gradually increasing his role. This type of succession planning could ensure a smooth transition, preventing a sudden drop-off in offensive production. Of course, the Chiefs are not obligated to select a tight end early. With Kelce still performing at a high level, Kansas City could prioritize more immediate needs. For example, they could target an offensive tackle such as Francis Mauigoa to strengthen pass protection and improve the run game. Protecting Mahomes remains essential, and investing in the offensive line could yield immediate benefits. Alternatively, the Chiefs might consider a wide receiver like Jordan Tyson, adding speed and explosiveness to the passing attack. Both options would address areas of concern and provide quick impact, making them attractive alternatives. However, the best player available philosophy complicates matters. If Sadiq is graded as the top remaining prospect when Kansas City is on the clock, passing on him purely due to positional considerations could be risky. Elite talent often outweighs short-term needs, particularly in an offense led by Mahomes. Adding another dynamic weapon could elevate the entire unit, forcing defenses to account for multiple threats. The possibility of running two tight end formations featuring both Kelsey and Sadiq could create matchup nightmares, blending experience with athleticism and versatility. Another important factor is roster sustainability. Drafting Sadiq now would provide insurance for the future, ensuring continuity at a critical position. The Chiefs could integrate him gradually, using specialized packages early before expanding his responsibilities. This measured approach would allow the coaching staff to maximize his development while maintaining offensive balance. It also reduces the risk of scrambling to find a replacement later, a scenario that can disrupt continuity. The presence of two early picks also allows Kansas City to hedge its bets. They could select Sadiq with one pick and address another need with the other, achieving both short-term improvement and long-term planning. Alternatively, they might prioritize the trenches first and still find value at skill positions later. The unpredictability of the draft ensures that multiple scenarios remain viable, and the Chiefs' front office must be prepared for each possibility. Ultimately, the decision will depend on how the draft board unfolds and how Kansas City evaluates each prospect. Schefter's suggestion highlights the complexity of the Chiefs' situation, where immediate needs, long-term planning, and talent evaluation all intersect. With Mahomes healthy and the goal of returning to the Super Bowl firmly in sight, the stakes are high. The early picks represent a chance to reshape the roster, reinforce key areas, and set the foundation for continued success. As draft night approaches, speculation will continue to intensify, and the Chiefs will remain one of the most closely watched teams. Whether they prioritize the trenches, add a playmaker, or plan for the future at tight end, the decisions made in the first round could define the next era of Kansas City football. If Kenyon Sadiq is available and graded as the best player on the board, the Chiefs may face a defining choice: focus on immediate needs or invest in long-term upside. According to Schefter's perspective, Kansas City might lean toward securing elite talent, even if it means drafting a position that is not currently a glaring weakness. Such a move would reflect the forward-thinking philosophy that has helped sustain their success, potentially setting the stage for another championship run and ensuring that the offense remains dynamic, versatile, and dangerous for years to come. And you, Chiefs fan, do you think Kenyon Sadiq should be hired if the perfect opportunity arises? Leave your opinion in the comments. Thanks for watching, subscribe, and see you next time.